Oh yeah, this one doesn't ban. Rewind! Pretty cool. However, if you are unlucky enough to throw this bad boy and it lands with that facing down, guess what happens? Well, that's your little switch where if it's pressed in, it's primed, it's ready. It's not going to do anything unless that little metal lever there releases. But if you throw it and it lands on it like that, it shuts it down and you get no flash. But you've got to be pretty unlucky for that to happen. But as soon as it's not pressed in, nice. And another thing to be mindful of, that spring. Oh, and by the way, there's a little button there. If you press that, you can just turn it on and use it as a nice little nightlight or whatever situation you're in. There you go, pretty bright. All the studio lights are off. The only thing that is lit, in both meanings, is this bad boy. Nice. Now, like I said, you could use it as some sort of nightlight at home or whatever, but during gameplay, especially with some of the sites I've been to where it can be really dark, you can just light up the way temporarily with this bad boy. Pretty cool. But how does it compare to the real thing? Now, when I say real thing, inert, it will not do anything, okay? So you can see the Airsoft one kind of falls short in terms of pins, because on the real deal you have a primary pin and a secondary pin, and I'm loving the markings that you've got on here. To be fair, there's markings on the Airsoft one too, pretty decent. Look at that, and it even has that there too. However, the Airsoft one has a base that screws off, not on the real deal. You've got more markings here on the real deal. I don't think there's anything more, no. But that looks pretty cool. By the way, movie prop, okay? So when you're using props in movies, you make them look exactly like the real thing. If not, it is the real thing, just inert. Okay, so if we look at the lever or spoon, you can see the differences again. On the real version, metal. On the Airsoft version, metal. However, that's where it ends. This entire thing right here, which by the way is used as a movie prop, metal. The Airsoft one, everything but the pins and the ring there, and the spoon, lever, everything else, plastic. But to be fair, fairly durable too. Now if I lay it down, and if you look at the top of the lever, again, you can see the differences. You have the correct markings on the real one, movie prop, and on the Airsoft one, blank. Now, even though I've been spending this entire video referring to this one as the Airsoft version, it wasn't actually made specifically for Airsoft. Airsoft has adopted it, okay? So it is basically a dummy one, and even though I said we use the more authentic one for movie shoots and everything, of late there's been certain scenes where we've been opting to use this Airsoft one. Now when a particular movie shoot comes to an end, obviously props go back to my prop store, but after a while, especially when I've got a few and it is Airsoft related, I sometimes give things away in person, or I might do it on my Instagram. So at some point I'll be giving a few of these away via Insta. Not anytime soon, because we still need to use this for something else. And that also applies to these scopes. Awesome looking scopes. Once we're done with them, I'm going to give about 3 of them away. There's 4 there, I'm going to keep 1. I'm going to give about 3 of them away, again, via Insta, but not anytime soon. They still have to be used for certain shoots, as in movie shoots. And then You will know on Insta when I'm going to give them away.